Bernard of Montreal. August 30th, 2020. Well, it is with great warmth in my heart that I thank all the listeners wherever you are. And of course, first of all to my dear Montreal, and my dear Quebec, but also to all of you who discover me on this occasion, or who may have had the opportunity to hear me speak. This is the one and only time that I intervene among you in this plane of form and density where you are. I had the opportunity, for many, many years, to express myself on what was to come and what has come now. And you are directly, all of this earth, confronted with the truth and the reality and the real. For a long time, I have talked to you about the involutive aspect and the evolutionary aspect of man, in a dimensional, linear, temporal, and spatial perspective. Understand well that in my time, and also that of all the ancients, none of us had the possibility of verifying and living what was beyond the light and beyond the intelligence. Today, for many of you things are clear. There is form, there is time, there is space, and all this comes and goes. All this is linked to your reflection, to your memory. But no memory and no reflection can enable you to experience intelligence. Intelligence is pure. It does not depend on any script, any story, any memory. Of course, in the linear temporal perspective, there was obviously this notion of evolution, of transformation. Overcoming good and evil, to arrive at the truth, which knows neither good nor evil. Good and evil are definitely subject to form, to competition, to predation, and above all to illusion. What you are will never pass. You are pure intelligence, and we humans, whether in my time or in your time, do not have to submit to any authority, any law, any morality, which all belong to the illusion of passing time and unfolding space. Today it is only you who are true, as all the ancients told you. You are all within each so-called other, with the same equality, the same intensity. And today, you all have the opportunity to find yourselves beyond all memory, all thought, and all anticipation of any future. And even today, after yesterday's events celebrated on different continents, I'm telling you again today, as during my last interviews, you didn't see anything. Everything will be done in the game of good and evil, so that all your landmarks can no longer subsist and can no longer be a point of support for any reflection or any memory, such as freedom. She is in the moment. She is not in some route race to come or that has come. The world of form, even here in this density, or in any density, is only passing and is not the real. The real is immutable. He does not know form. He does not know time. He does not know space. He only knows the truth. And the truth has nothing to do with good or evil. What I had already glimpsed and experienced of the illusion of other dimensions must, today, appear even more clearly to you. You are the all, on the condition of irrevocably accepting that everything you have played on the world of form, in this density as in all density, is in no way the reflection of the real. So, of course, there were beings called spiritual, incarnated on this earth, who allowed you to hang on, if I may say so, to the intangible, which is the real. That was necessary to cross innumerable stories, innumerable cycles, in order to realize and to live the truth, which was inaccessible to us, and which was however foreseen by many, even by the commander. Today you can live it, you can accept it, and you don't need anyone. I had the opportunity to say this when I was in my limited body of flesh. Despite all the visions, despite all the intelligence, I would say today that you predate intelligence. The real has no form. The real does not concern the stories which are only passing through, and which chain you in this process of the Moro-Ntia soul, of this soul which is going to lead you to adhere to a collective, to scenarios. But, seen from the cosmic point of view, the soul has no reality, and the spirit is the spirit. Do not mix the spirit with spirituality, especially in these times. You must free yourself from all illusions and all false securities. And the first of the illusory securities, in which we have all engulfed ourselves without any exception, is what we call society. All civilizations without any exception and without even going back in other cycles, all appeared, all had a growth, a decrease, and a death. No society, no body, and no form is the truth. Accept this hypothesis, do not think, and, at that moment, you will live it. I had often drawn your attention to the so-called worlds of spirituality. Do you believe that an archangel is able to experience or feel what human feels? No. They can only guide you through their own vision, their own script, but that is not man's script. Man is captive within the form. Man does not have to evolve as soon as the cosmic mystery is experienced. And the cosmic mystery is that it is also an illusion, just like the density that we experience. But the essential difference with these ethereal densities is that we humans, the moment we set foot, via soul and spirit, within the form of this density, we are trapped, because we do not see, because we do not feel, the truth. We are trapped by the collective, memorial soul of our country, our memberships, whatever they may be. True freedom, the one and indissoluble truth that has no beginning or end, is beyond anything that can be represented by any form or scenario. The trap is terrible. It was conceived, and you know it today, from the first moments of creation which, I remind you, is beyond all time, all space, and it is present everywhere. Today, the individual resolution, and I specify not only collective of humanity but of the whole of the drama of creation, is presently lived at this very moment on this earth. And when you have understood, by living it, that what you call society is not there for you, but is there to trap you, in all possible ways. As soon as you organize your life according to a past, according to an apprenticeship, you can no longer be free. The real is no longer accessible to you in any way. You are forced to rely on memory elements of your own soul, of the trapped collective soul of humanity or of a country, but you are also trapped by the very organization of society as a whole. As long as you don't see it, as long as you believe, on one level or another, that the purpose of the society of men is to live together and to perpetuate the dream, then you have it all wrong. Time is urgent. You can clearly see it in what is unfolding on the surface of this world, and I can also tell you that the cosmic emergency is very real. All the fragmented, separated consciousnesses, resulting from the unique consciousness are, I would say, not at your bedside, but at your disposal. Man is not in a peripheral position, instead, he is in the central position in the game of creation, but also in the game of predation. Pay close attention. The moment you appear in the density of this third-dimensional form as a human, you can only be subject to memory and reflection. There is no spontaneity there. I would say that the real is what is spontaneous, which does not depend on your opinion, or your decisions, or your wishes, and even less on your fears. At a time when the jackal is finally denounced, and at a time when humans open their eyes, not to the cosmic lie, but to the lie of society, you can tell yourself that what is happening in this local corner of the universe of creation, in this microcosm called the Earth, reverberates to the infinity of the macrocosm. You are, remember, in the central position. You are in a decision-making position. Creation, the dream, the involution, the evolution, were created for the need of the scenario, for the need of the dream. I affirm, today for having finally lived it, that all this are only stories like you tell a child, a story so that he sleeps. The stories that have been told to you from time immemorial are there only to keep you in the state of hypnosis, in the state of amazement of the mind. So of course, you created angels, archangels, dimensions, but we created it here on earth, all together. As Nisargadatta would say, there is only the real which is eternal, while all that passes is not true. The great difference of what I was able to deliver to you with the psychology of evolution was above all, to make you aware of history as other elders before me have been doing for many, many years now. All this in order to direct you with your ascent towards the only truth, towards the real. Today, what do you see on the scene of this world? There are pros and cons, at all levels. There is good, there is evil, and each from his point of view does good and refuses evil. But the evil of one is the good of another. And the good of one is also the evil of the other. As long as you are not independent, what you call autonomy, as long as you believe that you must depend on an authority, be it legal, moral, or so-called spiritual, you subject yourselves to your own creations. There is no space for freedom and no space for the real in these chimeras. You don't need visions, you don't need reflections, you don't need emotions. Contrary to what is told to you day in and day out, by all the teachers to live your emotions, it is heresy. Emotion feeds the soul at the expense of the spirit. The spirit is the real. And today, no spirituality, no religion, no experience of anything, even the most luminous, will allow you to be free. The only freedom is when you reject the planetary lie, and also the cosmic lie that you did not have access to. Freedom, autonomy, is not a question of material dispositions or mental dispositions. Rediscovering the real means rediscovering one's identity beyond any form. It is to really and concretely live freedom, regardless of whatever is imposed on you within the planetary lie as well as the cosmic lie. To become again like a child, virgin of all memory, of all reflection, and also of all projection. What some have tried to make you understand on earth, beyond spiritual history, and which has been called the instant, the present, the unexpected, is the key. Until you are prepared for the unexpected, you cannot experience reality. You are still projected, you are still in fear and still in fear of suffering, for your work, for your body, for your children, for your parents, for your rent, for your taxes, for food. Do you not see that all societies, at all times, which have wanted to federate, create, organize a model of society, even if it is based on astrological data, like certain civilizations, even if it is based on matter, on predation, on what you call capitalism or liberalism or even communism, is of no use to you in discovering yourself. Stop swallowing everything related to the world of forms, the world of emotions, and the world of thought. The supramental, as I called it, has nothing to do with all that. What you call agape, beatitude, the abode of supreme peace, all these words simply reflect the human being who has rediscovered the real. As long as you are not stabilized in the real, you suffer. You suffer from your emotions, from your body, from your thoughts, from your stories, from your pasts, from your projections in a future whatever it is. Even if it was tomorrow, at that moment you are no longer available for the unexpected, for what is there, I would say, within reach of the heart, within sight. The time is no longer for dithering, weighing the pros and cons. The time is for authenticity, spontaneity, immediate availability within the moment which must be total. Whether it's looking at a flower, helping a human brother or sister, fighting for a living, what has to stay inside of you is that lucidity of intelligence that never again will you be able to take illusions for the truth. Simply observe, as the commander or Nisargadatta said, observe the observer. You are not even the one who lives what is to be lived, you are prior to that. But today as long as you feed the system, society, memory, or projections, you will suffer, because it is the game of the intelligence of the real, to bring you back to the essence and the essential beyond the world of forms, beyond dimensions, beyond all appearance and all vision, to the ineffable beauty of truth. Today, compared to 15, 20 years ago, you have the possibility of it, incredible for my time, each one of you, whatever your age, as soon as you leave your claims to know, your memory claims, your emotional or mental pretensions, then at that time you are totally free. The planetary lie is revealing itself, and I repeat, you haven't seen anything. You have not yet experienced anything of what is happening in the next 4 months that will unfold before you. I warn you. It is no longer time to play the game of good and evil. It is no longer time to want to refine any perception or vibration. It's time to be fair and authentic. No longer depending on anything does not mean isolating yourself, but seeing things clearly because you are going to discover the totality of the planetary lie, and it goes very far. It goes far beyond what you call the archons, and brings into question and responsibility the whole of creation, of what is called consciousness, of the worlds of form, of the worlds of time. Everything, at the level of the planetary lie, will irremediably in the coming days bring you back to the cosmic lie, the lie of all religions without any exception, the lie of all spiritualities without any exception. The real does not need history. Real intelligence needs no form. What you call the white paradise is only the actualization of the cosmic lie and its links with the planetary lie, so that you are really in the freedom that you are and no longer subject to any memory whatsoever, to any redundancy whatsoever nor even to any becoming whatsoever. If you are lucid, if you agree to see things, right here in your life and what is taking place in society, you will no longer be able to lie to yourself. Whatever you are thinking today, whether you are at peace or angry, whether you are constantly upset to see what you are seeing, what is being done to your parents, to your children, to your friends, also a set of human beings, who have nothing human about them, you don't see that yet. You have been taught on this by the commander many years ago, and you will see the strings that move the puppets, and you will understand that you also have strings that move you too. These strings come from the memory, from the soul, yours but also that of your country, that of your beliefs, of the path you have traveled within this very life, everything to which you have become accustomed, happy as unhappy, is a formal obstacle to total freedom. The real is beyond good and evil, but it was first necessary, during these last 40 years, to raise awareness of the planetary lie, to see that evil is not necessarily evil and that good is not necessarily good. If you are still subject to this duality of good and evil, you will never cross the planetary lie and even less the cosmic lie. Autonomy, becoming the integral sovereign of who you are, cannot accommodate any planetary and even less cosmic lies. The cosmic lie of the creation myth, as Nisargadatta would say, the planetary lie that until now seemed to many of you totally separate, will show you their common resonance. Anything that binds you to birth and death, anything that binds you to the flesh, anything that binds you to a memory, is not real. As long as you feed that in some way, how do you want to be free? It is not a question of age, it is not a question of disease or health. As it was said by the commander, but on a cosmic level now, there will be fear or love, suffering or love, but you have to, as it was said, go through everything, welcome everything because integrally the totality of what you see, was created only by you, and for this moment, and it is yourselves who created it on all the levels, planetary as cosmic. During my lifetime, I protested for a very long time against the communications that today you call channeling. It's true. All that comes as information today, from the so-called subtle or invisible planes, can only lead you to bewilderment, confusion, and certainly not to the real. Because if you put your trust in an outer authority, cosmic or even planetary, you cannot be free. Look at society, wherever you look, whether in Quebec, whether in Canada, in the United States, or even here in Europe, you will always see the same lie, the same need to appropriate, the same need to dominate, and not only in the state, even within families. Realize it. Even today everything is done to keep you in the lie of the non-real, and until all this has been enlightened, consumed in totality, and not only at the planetary level, but at the level of creation in its totality, talking about freedom is useless. All the humans who have lived the truth, I would say for 30, 40 years, beyond any dogma, any school, any teaching, all tell you the same thing without any exception: you must abandon all your baggage that you call spiritual. You need to stop feeding even the most divine experiences you have had, not as something true or false, but as something that literally blocks you, that literally freezes you, and really prevents you from being able to live and to be this real intelligence, this intelligence called light. Light is intelligence, consciousness appears in light, but it is not light. Anything that is memorial, anything that refers to an acquisition or a loss cannot be true. It is a fragmented vision linked to a deployment of creation according to a time, and according to different spaces and densities, what you call dimensions. But as long as there is density of any kind, there is subjection to form. You are in a form, but you are no form. Just accept it. You can't demonstrate it, but if you accept it in your head, if you accept it sincerely, not to stop the emotions, not to stop the thoughts, not to stop the memories, but to let them appear and disappear without you interested in them, you are free but instantly. If you are not free today, if there is suffering, whether related to age, illness, society, your children, your parents, and so on, it is because you still believe in form, you are not in reality. You are still, whatever your experiences, whatever the opening of your chakras or your waves of life, or of the doors, of the stars, you are still subject to a story, but you are no story. You do not have to believe me. Besides, I specify that I do not intervene as a channeling or channeling of myself through another body. It is the real intelligence that speaks to you, which knows neither time nor space. It is the same for Nisargadatta under the name of Biddy. Do you believe that the one who is absolute, even if he relies on the identity that he had, today, it's just a distraction to show you a kind of very human logic, but which was necessary to put you in confidence vis-a-vis yourselves? You are great, you are far greater than all of creation, far greater than the greatest mother geneticist, far greater than the greatest mother geneticist or archon even. You don't have to be limited by a form, even if you are in this form and in this mold, in this prison of the soul. Accept it today even if you don't live it, and you will see almost immediately that the real will unfold, that you can no longer be deceived, neither by you nor by your thoughts, nor by your emotions, nor by any one of this density, or of some spiritual density that is far less tangible and far less real than the density we have been on this earth. We are not only those who seek the light, the truth, but we really are the truth. We were put to sleep, we fell asleep ourselves. We thought we had to do something. Yes, in my time, and others did it too, to show the planetary lie, the truth about the cosmic lie. I had the opportunity to say it in the years 95 until 2000. You will be revealed afterwards. You are in this period. So look at yourself, look at yourself. What are you running after? After money, after health, after insurance, to avoid old age. This is all cinema. If you were truly lucid and totally okay with it, there is no longer any reason why this society, this world, your own thoughts or your own emotions, or your own history as a character, could hold you back and limit the freedom you experience. Many of you live what you call agape. It is the state of lucidity, it is the state of reality that you express, certainly through a limited form, but you live the unlimited. At that moment, as some have told you, you can only laugh and smile after having cried for a long time, because it's not over, it's only a beginning, and the event that happened yesterday in different parts of the world will obviously be amplified. Remember this date, August 29th, and when you look again, if you have the opportunity to do so, at this date in a few weeks, you will then really understand what happened. It is not only a need for freedom within society, it is not just a claim to oppose this or that, it is the definitive realization that you are beyond all form, all contingency, any limits, and anything that scares you. The human being is a being of fear because fear was cultivated, we all cultivated it together, but it was necessary in order to emerge from the lie. This very body is a lie, your very identity is a lie, there is no reality in that. Today you are connected, you are the resonance yourselves, you are the intelligence which cannot be superimposed in any way with what you call the normal intelligence of the mind. And indeed, all those of you who have glimpsed it or who live it know full well that they do not depend on anything or anyone. There can be no fear of sickness, there can be no fear of suffering, there can be no fear of any tomorrow or any lack. If these thoughts cross you for whatever reason, it means that you are not in the real, you still believe in your character, you still believe that you have something to do, to accomplish. But the intelligence of the real has nothing to do with any accomplishment, it is much more of the order of what is noticed, of the order of observation, that this society leads you to nothingness, that this society leads you to suffering, and continues as long as you imagine a difference between you and your worst enemy. All that is fear. I would even say that the assassin who kills you, in fact frees you. You judge according to appearances, we all judge on this earth according to the facts and never according to the truth, never according to the real. The real has nothing to do with your form, has nothing to do with the history of the cycles of this earth or of any creation, the real is the real. It is lightness, it is permanent joy that nothing can erase, not even the worst suffering, not even the worst loss. And besides, there is no loss, it is a total restitution, I would say, ad integrum, that is to say in the entirety of who you have always been. There will no longer be any refuge in the dream, either here on this density, nor within all the densities that have seemed to exist. You don't exist, you are. Simply the scenery, the environment, the laws, morals, spirituality, and basic human psychology have been nothing but decoys. This is the time when you have to accept this total nudity. This is how you welcome the unexpected, this is how you welcome the real that you are, and this is how you are intelligent. But as long as your mental intelligence serves you to explain a manifestation, a causality, a becoming or a past, you will never be happy, and that is exactly what will happen in the months to come. Everything what you still believe in, your body, your family, your apartment, your house will no longer mean anything to you. The more you will progress in the unmasking of the cosmic lie, and of these interrelationships with the planetary lie, the more it will be removed from you, the lighter you will feel and the more real you will be. At the time, someone said, no one can serve two masters at the same time. Today more than ever, you are confronted with this. The demonic forces, whatever names you give them, but also the forces of light, whatever names you give them, long ago signed, what you could call today a very particular gospel, which is not the gospel of Christ but the gospel of Satan, so that the dream, the story, the mind, the emotions, the densities, the peoples, the different lineages of creation come together at a joint moment, allowing the unmasking of the real, both through the planetary lie and the cosmic lie. You just have to applaud, you just have to watch, and it is your lighting, the fact of agreeing to watch these horrors, which will allow you to understand that they have never had any density, that the only real is who you are, and not this character who bears such and such a name and who is struggling today at the end of a cycle. As long as you feed, through your gaze other than that of the observer, as long as you feed the emotions, the impulses, the becomings, you will suffer, but when you are tired of suffering to the extreme limit of your density, then you will be free. As Nisargadatta said, as Abba said, at some point the tears will turn into endless laughter, even if today everything that is happening in your life, or on the society of this world seems terrible to you, and this is only the beginning, all of it can only lead you to the real, to agape and to peace. Everything else will seem to you futile, useless, outdated, and of the order of old expired beliefs. Remember, everything you hold on to holds you and today binds you. Whether it's your own thoughts, your own conceptions of your role, or of your everyday life, you are already no longer free for the unexpected. You are more likely to encounter the real while sitting, looking at anything, than by moving and gesticulating, which does not mean by this that you should do nothing, but that it is already enough to see, because what is seen by the eye of man, which is no longer masked by his emotions, by his laws and by his morality, writes in an unmistakable way, end of the dream, end of the planetary lie and end of the cosmic lie. I had the opportunity at length during my lifetime to speak to you about extraterrestrials, both as you say positive or negative. They too are there. Do not believe the prophecies, they are unfolding before your eyes, they are a descriptive framework of what you have to go through and it is in this moment, but that is not why you have to believe their finality. Because everything that is going to talk to you about a becoming, whether it is a new earth, a new dimension, a stellar origin, all of that I tell you is wind. Today we all rediscover the truth, the real. The real is of no world, even if it is the most ethereal. The only real is what never passes, it is this objectless joy, this naked love, this resonance of the intelligence itself that you are, and when you live it really and concretely, you spontaneously let go of what you hold on, and in any case you cannot do otherwise. You can decide what you want to eat, a trip you want to take, but the intelligence of life, the intelligence of the real will catch up with you because where you are still fallible, even awake as you say, even with all your chakras that are turning and open, even with the wave of life that has risen, what still keeps you dependent is that you still believe in form, you still believe in your body, you still believe in society or your country. Of course, it is necessary to denounce, but not to react, and to denounce is to see, beyond appearances, beyond experience, beyond memories, beyond all reflection and all judgment. It is the neutrality of the present moment where you are in this reception and this acceptance which will never be a submission, never, because you will never again be able to submit to a husband, a wife, to a child, to a law, to a country or to the dictates of the cosmic lie. All you have to do is accept it, see it as it is within the lie, you cannot oppose the lie. The lie will go to its planetary term as its cosmic, and it is here on this earth that it is happening right now, and all those who still believe that everyone goes at their own pace, that everyone is not at the same stage of his consciousness, of the truth, you are mistaken. Only he who has escaped the vision of the senses, the vision of this world and also the astral vision of the cosmic lie sees the world for what it really is. At that moment there is freedom. But I invite you in the coming days, and I really speak of days, to ask yourself the question inside you, you do not need any outside opinion. Look clearly without judging yourself, without judging anything. What still holds you? What is the fear that has not been seen? What is the suffering that has not been accepted and that prevents you from being true, from being real? That's also autonomy, sovereignty. It's not depending on anything other than the moment. The moment you reflect, the moment even a pleasant memory returns to your consciousness, to your head, you are no longer free, simply because you are no longer available for the moment. So you are going to answer me that man is the result of an apprenticeship, that he is inserted into a society, into a family environment, into a country. I say and I say again that the trap is there in what you still believe to be valid, in what you still believe in having to accomplish, to earn your life, or to lose your life or not to lose it. Truth is not encumbered with all these reflections, is not encumbered with all these notions of involution and evolution which were adapted to my time, like the commander, like the first to have spoken of the supramental for to have lived it, you know, was Sri Aurobindo. What did he rush to do? To foresee a future, like I did, like the commander did, like we all did. Because we did not have the means to verify and experience this even if we had a presentiment of it. Today you all, without exception, have the same possibility to live it, but you cannot think of Christ or think of the devil and be free. To see it, yes, it is moreover visible at every street corner, you see the actions of each other, not to condemn them, not to classify them as good or bad, but to see the real through that. So, what is expressed today is the real intelligence, which is obviously based on an identity and a form, but which has nothing to do with a process of channeling or an external entity which would arrive by the Marian channel and would merge its essence with the essence of the channeler. This is true telepathy. There is no need for middleman, there is no need for distance, there is no need for preparation. Real intelligence is at this point. The problem is that we use words like the word love or the word intelligence, and everyone stocks their experience to it, their point of reference in relation to what they have already experienced or not experienced. But as long as you are in this logic there you cannot be totally free. Freedom, I repeat, is the freedom of the moment. Is your present named moment free of learning, fear, memory, and emotion? Look at the human brothers and sisters who are living peace, who are living agape. They themselves still see variations, these variations of state, which, if I can say is not one, are only the reflection of your ultimate questions about tomorrow or yesterday, about what we all call causality. Intelligence has no causality, it is far beyond. The real knows once again only good and evil, which do not exist as such but as cosmic forces which oppose each other and which, whether we like it or not, have allowed the dream of creation. There is no more responsibility in what you call Yaldabaoth than in the geneticist mother you call Mary. We all made the same mistake, we all went through the dream, through the densities, and we are here on this earth at the central point, I would even say the nodal point from where life comes and where life returns. Where there is no longer a need for a path, where there is no longer a need for evolution or involution, what you call time zero is the resolution of the cosmic lie and the planetary lie, and it is unfolding right now on Earth and nowhere else. The crux of the matter was the Earth as the origin of the dream. You know there are many beings today on this Earth who speak of flat Earth, but the Earth is neither flat nor round, it is a projection, a place of elaboration of life, of elaboration of dreams and elaboration of the cosmic and planetary lie. It is not a condemnation to say this, it is simply to see it clearly and one by one within your apparent individuality. We are all called, whatever our density, today to accept and realize the planetary lie and the cosmic lie. There is only love, there is no world, love is perfect, could never be amputated and will never be deviated whatever you think, whatever your feelings tell you, whatever your vibrations tell you. The vibration that you have been developing, for some over the years, was the means effectively, as has been explained, to experience the supramental. But I took the example from you to be the first to have experienced it, from Sri Aurobindo, who hastened to create a school, to create a city. Did I create anything apart from what I said when I was incarnated? Did Nisargadatta create a school, a current, a philosophy? No. Get out very quickly of all these so-called spiritual, energetic, vibratory approaches, they take you on paths of suffering today, every time. Simply be available and lucid whatever your age, whatever your life condition, accept to be fully there, fully present in what you live, in what is happening in the moment, and you are instantly free from lies planetary and the cosmic lie. Of course, there is a fight, this fight is called Armageddon. Of course, this is what you are going through, individually, collectively, everywhere. But that is what the great upheaval is, this revelation of the intertwined cosmic lie and planetary lie that had been hidden from you. My words at the time could not go any further, because there was no point in saying what was behind the sun or behind the light until we had experienced it, especially the fact that until a certain number of human beings had experienced it, talking about it was useless. Today, you only have one thing to talk about, it's real. The real is not the form. The real is not your form. The real is of no world. At that moment, you will experience, you will feel the vibe. Vibe can be translated as atmosphere or vibration, the vibe of freedom which is comparable to no other. It is not just heat in the heart or fire in the heart. It is not only the wave of life which crackles in your back or in your legs. It's not just your chakras spinning at full speed, since that's not real. It is precisely the cessation of all that moves, and what must not move is your mind, your emotions, not your body, you move it. You have obligations, and I take this opportunity to tell you that even obligations, whether financial, social, moral, affective, professional, family, will no longer mean anything to you in the days to come and coming weeks. It is neither a punishment nor a retribution. It is a pretext to make you live the real that you are. There is no real in your life. There is no real in your affects. There is no real in your thoughts. The real is pure joy, which has nothing to do with evolution or involution, which has nothing to do with movements, which has nothing to do with regroupings. It happens one-on-one. It is in your purest individuality that you will discover that there is no one, that there is no individuality, neither here nor elsewhere, since all creation is in your heart. And that, as you know, we are all intertwined. There is no point in excluding Yaldabaoth or Marie, but in crossing them, putting them in their place, dreamers or preventers of dreams. But no dream leads to the real. On the contrary, we know that the more we dream, the less chance we have of living the real. This is what you yourselves must prove to yourselves today, and the intelligence of life, the intelligence of light, the matrix of light, the Christic matrix as you named it a few years ago, will take everything away of what remains of your illusions. You are neither a grandfather nor a child. You are neither husband nor wife. You are neither the lawyer, nor the teacher, nor the policeman. You are neither the angel nor the archangel. Everything that is of the order of form, everything that is of the order of any density, is subjection. You are prior to all that, and it is in this sense that at some point the planetary lie will meet the cosmic lie in its entirety, including extraterrestrials, to show you that you are alone, that there is never was anyone, that you are both nothing, and at the same time everything. From there, the dream can no longer continue in any possible density, in any possible form, and in any possible world. It is this realization, this awakening if you want to call it that, no longer of the individual, but of the entire human collective, present on Earth or in other dimensions, which will show it to you, make you live it, if this is not already done. Joy covers everything, the joy of the real, true intelligence. At that point, all the rest of what you might call the setting, and the setting includes others as well, be it your wife, your husband, your child, or your banker, does not exist. A large number of you are still subject to your most ordinary senses. What you see, what you hear, what you feel, is not true, it is a stage. But everything is done by the intelligence of the real, what you call the intelligence of the light. As Abba said, everything has been written, nothing is left to chance. If you accept this, you will see more and more clearly the lie of society, the lie of history, and I mean all the stories of all peoples, all countries, and all times of this cycle as of any cycle. The real cannot be cyclical. The real cannot be improved or amputated. The real is joy, and until joy has taken over and consumed everything, your last illusions, your last adhesions to the world of form, you cannot claim to be free. You will certainly have experiences of freedom which will perhaps strengthen you progressively in this truth. This truth, which does not depend on your point of view, nor on your history, nor on an archangel, nor on an angel, nor on God, nor on the devil, nor on any density, nor on any dimension, has always been there. Simply, we could not experience all of it. It was necessary to illuminate the whole picture, the control of predation, the sixth cycle of the earth, the alternations of eras, what we call today the Kali Yuga. But the only escape route, the only key is your behavior in the present moment. If you are really fully inserted and inscribed in what has been called the here and now without asking yourself any questions, letting yourself be crossed by everything that can cross, thoughts and emotions, body pains, then you will flush out the one who observes the observer, the natural state. The natural state is that which is no longer fooled, neither by the planetary lie, nor by the cosmic lie. He is no longer fooled by his situation, he is no longer fooled by his age, he is no longer fooled by a profession or even a sex. He is what you named years ago, in the primordial androgyny. These are still words, but they translated well what you were going to experience today. Look at your life as a character. Look at the weight of your thoughts today. As soon as you have a fear or an emotion about anything, it will crystallize instantly in your body. Your body is the mirror of truth. It is an interface even if it is illusory. And today, you all have the possibility by being in a body of flesh of this density, whatever your age, if you are honest with yourselves, you will find more and more easily that if you are in the moment, nothing can disturb you. And that if you are not in the moment, you will be the object of all possible suffering and pain, on any level. And I told you the target is your body. This is not a punishment, understand that. It is lighting. When you are tired of suffering from this body, this world, or the cosmic lie, you can only turn to yourself, which has been called the heart of the heart. And everything is done by the intelligence of the light and in what you are going to have to live in the days and weeks to come, to ensure that you can only look at the real and the truth of who you are. Because anything you lean on from the outside, property, electricity, house, food, will bring you no security. This is what we all decided to write to wake up from the lie. Don't judge anything. If I tell you today that everything is perfectly in the right place, everything has been written perfectly and that you can only follow the script without getting involved in it, then the real will be your daily life. Joy will show on your faces, in your eyes. You will no longer tolerate the slightest obstacle to your freedom, not by wanting to fight or oppose yourself, but by telling the truth. You are the truth, but not so long as you claim an identity or anything of this world. Anyway, the Western-named society is coming to its death like all civilizations, and it is right now. So, of course, when I was in this density which is yours today, of course we were talking about the future, we were talking about evolution because we were so in involution. But there is no time. Everyone who lives in the moment tells you that. All these worlds with all these forms, angel, archangel, demon, it is a creation of man, like God and the devil. It's just us. Stop projecting, though it was certainly necessary to go up in vibration, in an external authority. I have already said it in my last speeches, do not believe me. Don't believe anyone. Don't believe anything except the moment, except the present. Everything else will make you suffer more and more. As long as you need to understand links between you and anyone, you are not free because you do not see that the other is in you. You put distance, and we all did that. Distance is the opposite of welcome and acceptance. Those of you who, a few years ago, were able to experience the reception and absorption of the essences know this very well. Stop looking. Stop trying to understand. Understanding can only come from you, not by an intellectual act, not by a memorial or even less projective act, but simply by the validity of the moment. If you were able to be totally in the moment, there is no longer any fear that holds, there is no longer any thought that holds, there is no longer any emotion that can alter you. I believe Nisargadatta spoke of divine indifference to the world of form and first to your form. It's not a denial. It just means that you have gone through all the layers of illusion, all that is not true. You are the real. Continue to be this real, and the more you will be in the real, the more the chaos of illusion will be established, the Armageddon that you call the apocalypse of which all the prophets have spoken. Today you are in it. 20 to 30 years ago, I said that you shouldn't worry too much about prophecies because it caused anxiety, it caused fear, it caused projection, but today, none of that is relevant. It belongs to a world that is already dead. And what you are witnessing at this very moment, in the revelation of the planetary lie and its intricacies with the cosmic lie, will appear to you as a vast farce. And the more today you have the impression of suffering from it or being affected by it, whether it's money, whether it's laws that prevent you from moving, you'll laugh about it because there is no better opportunity, there is no better circumstance than what is happening now. Yesterday, August 29th, the lighthouse of humanity lit up. It found an echo also in Europe but also in other regions of the world. Truth is spreading everywhere. The lie will resist everywhere, in you too. Look at the number of times you negotiate with yourselves, where you feel this joy, but where you are overtaken by a lack, whatever it is, by a need to protect yourself from anything. Look how easily, even for the most stable in the truth of a gape, how many still have moments when it seems to you that things are not going smoothly, in a natural way. These are only your last bits of attachment to your character, to your affections, to your families. But what does family mean, beyond the cosmic and planetary lie? Absolutely nothing. Look how dependent we all are on memory, on image, on the bonds we have woven or tried to break. None of this today can concern you. The more you are in the joy of the moment, in this agape resonance, the less you are subject to all that concerns illusion, whether you like it or not. Even if you seem to lack health, money, affection, you haven't got enough into it. You did not allow the ultimate veils to dissolve, to be eliminated from you. But life today, for each of you in this density, all that life is going to present to you is shocks, tremors, in all areas of your lives. It's not about punishment. It's not about attack. It is simply a matter of adjusting to the real. It may be a question of letting the light rectify what you thought was light but which is only a weight. If you are objective and if you are honest and lucid towards yourselves, you will no longer be able to lie to yourself. There is no valid alibi. There is no justification whatsoever. There is no explanation of anything that holds up against the real. But again, as I said in the 2000s, leave those who are asleep alone. The circumstances of the planetary lie will awaken them soon enough, according to what has been written in them and for them and by them. Take care of yourself. Be in this natural state, in the real, in the intelligence, and everything that seems to you, even today, insurmountable, whether at the emotional level or at any level whatsoever, will be exceeded and transcended with a huge smile. But it doesn't come from your action, it doesn't come from your reaction, it just comes from your ability to accept, to actually see that even the worst of losses, even the worst of pains and even the worst of fears, cannot last forever. It will be limited by your physical death anyway, at most. But you have today, through the intelligence of the real, the total availability of this resolutive act, and it is you who are the master of it. But as long as you look for responsibility elsewhere, as long as you look for causality elsewhere, it's society, it's my neighbor, it's my husband, it's my wife, it's lack of money, it's bad luck's fault, you have no chance of being totally free. And you have enough humans today who live this state of peace, this state of resonance, which is a much more important connection than communication, as I was saying, because there is no longer any distance. So, you are free. And if you are free, which is your natural state, it can only grow every day no matter what happens to your body, your life, your wallet, your family, your country. The real connection and the real resonance, it is there. It is to recognize oneself beyond any appearance, any role, any function, or any occupation. It is no longer time to entrust yourself to a guide, be it human or be it cosmic. You are alone. Alone with yourself. If you really manage to understand this sentence, that you are alone, that there is only you, then you will experience that there has never been anyone, then you will be free. But as long as you give free rein to the concerns of this world at whatever level, how do you want to be truly and frankly and totally available? This is no longer possible. You can no longer establish transactions, you can no longer trade or deal with the illusion. You can only get out of it, and it is not you who will get out of it. It is the real itself that will take you out of what was limiting you, be it your husband, be it your very body, or be it any situation. The logic and the intelligence of the real, of the light, cannot be approached with any human logic. Understand this well. It is only by accepting your humanity, your nothing, and your everything, that you are free. What you have to go through, individually and collectively, in the days and weeks to come, don't judge by appearances, don't even judge by facts, but wait for the results. Let the plan unfold. Be content to be there, to see clearly, to be lucid, and to be in this peace. Everything else doesn't need you, that's still a belief. In fact, the meeting of the planetary lie and the cosmic lie is to bring you now more and more brutally, sometimes violently, to the truth that you are. Do not interpret events. Just let them be enlightened by your presence. This is your job, if you can call it a job. It is to be yourself, to no longer give free rein to your memories, to no longer give free rein to what limits you. Not by opposing it, not by confronting it, but by accepting the obvious. You can't help it. There is freedom and there is the real. Don't listen to anyone. Moreover, you will no longer know who to listen to because the voices will be so discordant everywhere, whether among so-called spiritual people, whether among politicians, whether among doctors, whether among mediums, you can no longer rely on anything known. It's urgent. There is no point in suffering. There is no point in resisting. You simply have to attend what is there, by looking at it, not judging it but seeing it clearly. I will not dwell on the sequence of events. They were written everywhere. You are really, 2 days from now, you are entering Armageddon. What are you going to do? Are you going to want to save yourself? Are you going to want to run away? Or will you keep quiet? Freedom is in the quiet, neither in flight, nor in preservation, nor in opposition. Everyone plays their role. Some wrote to object. Some wrote of being violent. But from the cosmic point of view, we need, above all, human brothers and sisters aligned in divine indifference, who see clearly and who let the light of the real settle definitively in their heart and in all their cells, without resisting, without wanting to understand, without wanting to appropriate, without wanting to make new stories. Lucidity is uneventful. Lucidity is the real. It gives you clarity and precision, not about this world, nor about the cosmic, but it shows you the lie and the connections. There is nothing else to do. It is love and light and intelligence that consumes what is false. And the more you are true, the more you agree to open your eyes and open your heart and close your head, your mind, the more you will discover serenity, the more you will live only the emotions that pass, even if they are memories or of the moment, can no longer hinder or limit you, and it is in this immobility, in this silence, in this reception, that the real reveals itself. The best way to end the lie of your life, of society, of this sphere of life we call the earth, is silence and acceptance, which is exactly, I would say, the noblest revolutionary act that does not result in bloodshed, conflict or fights. The stronger you are in this indifference, in this silence, the more effective you will be without asking anything. What you lack will be brought, if you struggle it will be taken away. Now is the time to witness the feast, now is the time to witness the lifting of the cosmic lie right here on this earth. Already now, many of you are no longer fooled by the densities, the dimensions, the experience within even the most ethereal form, because whoever discovers the freedom of a gape can no longer be subjected to any world, any idea, any future, and is no longer dependent on any past. I will not speak to you in terms of energy or vibration or even feeling. You don't need all that anymore, you just need to accept the present moment, yours like that of the earth, like that of the cosmic, everything else is done without you but through you. It is so for each individual, it is so for each social group, for each family and above all for each country. It is not for nothing that I decided a long time ago to put Bernard of Montreal, because Montreal is the Mont du Real, Mount of the Real. The real story did not take place where you are told, it's all a lie but it's history, but the reflection of the earth, and I believe that the commander explained this a long time ago, each country is marked by a type of elementary qualifier. Brazil is marked by fire, Quebec is marked by what? By water. It is the matrix of life, the matrix of light intended to enlighten, not as an individual, but as a consciousness connected to a very ancient soul which is at the same time the soul of old France which has become New France, but also the soul of the natives who today must find themselves in the same alchemy and not only in Quebec or Canada, but everywhere. Look in the West and in Europe at all those who oppose themselves by talking about their race or their nationality. This cannot take place in Quebec, but this can northwest longer take place in Europe either. As long as you put a limit, as long as you put a boundary, as long as you put a definition, an identification, in truth you cannot be free. It means that you bring weight, energy, consciousness to what has passed or what is to come. There is the great trap of spirituality which today has been revealed, already for a few years. Today more than ever I would simply say these words to you: don't believe anyone, don't believe any words, don't believe any images, don't believe any scenarios, but just believe what your heart says. And what your heart says cannot be expressed in words, only in decisions like the response of the heart of the commander many years ago. Today there is only one answer, it is yes, yes, I see the planetary lie, I see the cosmic lie, I see the lie of my identity, the lie of my form. There is only one thing, love, it has always been there and it is everything. Love puts an end to consciousness, love puts an end to the supramental, love puts an end to what passes, love puts an end to links and leaves room for resonance, which is much more than a reliance. Resonance is saying to the other, I see you and you see me, beyond any mask, beyond any identity, any individual. It is the only truth, it is the only real, and that is intelligence. You are going to notice more and more strongly in the days and weeks that are going to open before you, that you will no longer be able to discuss this real, this love, and that if there is the slightest justification for your character, of a memorial element, or of a professional, societal, country, or effective link, you will not be able to relock you up. Inner joy, this state beyond any state, will be your daily life, and I would also say that this will be your only reference point as soon as you have experienced it, if only for a breath. You will no longer be able to deceive yourself, you will no longer be able to be deceived, no lie will have a hold on you. Only the real, only the light, only what is prior to the light will be the truth. My speech today on August 30th of the year 2020 marks the opening, after yesterday's event, of the great resolution of the planetary lie, the cosmic lie, and the lie of creation and devolution/evolution. There is only love, everything else is destined to disappear right here on this earth, right here in your density body, right here in your eternity body, and everywhere in the cosmos. I'm not asking you to believe me because you can't believe this, either you live it or you don't, but I can assure you that you will live it, and the less you struggle, the less you claim, and the more you will affirm that you are the light, the more the road will become clear in front of you and in you, and around you. Everything else, as Biddy would say, is cinema, cheap cinema to save you from looking inside, even the vaccines, even the dictatorship, which is real and it is not from today, you just see it today, but it's been there since the dawn of time on Earth. That's what you call civilizations, that's what you call authority. The autonomous and free human being does not need any authority to tell him what to do, he does not need scientific studies because he is in the moment and the moment is the answer. Everything else is cinema, everything else takes you away from the real. If you are real, then the real manifests, then the intelligence of light will work in you and around you, but it is not you who work, you are there to assist, to see, and to be present. The action is done by itself. The important thing is to say no to society, no to what is contrary to the yes of the acceptance of life, of the acceptance of the moment and the eternal present. It is no longer time to dither or talk about root race or channeling or overshadowing or whatever. There is only one consciousness that has fragmented and dispersed infinitely in the same time and in the same space/time. All the rest is only a dream intended to wake you up and, like Abba said, there is nothing better than a nightmare to wake you up and stop dreaming, stop believing. Even the extraterrestrials, even the intergalactic confederation of the free worlds in its entirety is absolutely nothing compared to the smallest of us on this earth with his human soul. Stop being slaves to your thoughts, your stories, your emotions, your future, your fears, your body. Make this decision within you firmly and you will immediately see the changes, but, until you let go of everything, you are not free and life will show it to you, it will demonstrate it to you, in your country, in your family, in your house or your apartment, until you smile, until joy ravishes you into the eternal ecstasy of truth and reality. This was my first and my last intervention because everything must now be done in you and through you. Don't depend on anything anymore, there is no Savior, there is no return from I don't know which Christ or Antichrist. There is only the real, and what is lived on this earth is a reflection of what is happening in the cosmos at this very moment, between the followers of the form and I would say those who live the real. And, of course, the real can only transform the dream and show it its uselessness, its fatuity. You are complete and you are whole when you grant yourself the ultimate belief. You are more than this form, you are more than any form, you are more than any world. Everything comes from there, everything comes from there and everything returns there, and it is happening now on this earth. It is the date. I am not talking about the event that you are all waiting for, that there is no need to wait for, since the event above all is yourselves. The discovery, the experience of the truth of the real, of the intelligence of the light, well you called it a gape or interdimensional spatial resonance, the important thing is to live it there, in the heart, really and concretely. Don't make movies with a gape, don't make a movement with a gape. Freedom is not a spiritual movement, freedom is not to federate others according to your vision or according to your experience. Freedom is telling the other that he is free, hitting him with this until he lives it, without wanting to change anything. Affirm what you are beyond form. You are pure light and pure intelligence. All other intelligences that have not experienced the densest density of this earth are far removed from the real. In other words, it is today the humanity, embodied in this density, on this planet, which is closest to the real, whatever the appearances. Look at the extraterrestrials, whatever their density, they took ships, they created ships, they went through the intraterrestrial gates or the sun gate. You don't need to move, you are at the heart of the action, at the heart of dreams, but also at the heart of reality. All the rest have been only distractions, lies, at worst by omission, but for that you have to discover the totality of the cosmic lie and there too you saw nothing. All those who appeared to you with roles of guides, roles of enlightened beings, in all past centuries, and in all cultures, and in all civilizations, have been prey to the cosmic lie. There is only you. As long as you adhere to or believe in any character whatsoever, in any movement of thought whatsoever, you are prisoners of your own creations and there is suffering, more and more. But as the commander said, as Nisargadatta said, love or pain, and you have the choice every minute, every breath, really and concretely. So, it's up to you to decide. What do you want to feed? History, memories, projections? Or do you want to feed on the truth? It will appear to you more and more as two diametrically opposed behaviors. One is resolution, lightness, agape, and the other is suffering, anger, denial, fear. There can no longer be half measures. You can no longer procrastinate from one to the other. The real of the light, the intelligence of the real will seize you behind all the appearances whether you have seen them or not. As long as you do not accept that you are love, but still bring your history, your attractions or your repulsions to the fore, you are not free. It is something that is decided instantly, with which you cannot cheat, with which you cannot compromise. It is yes or no. Life will show it to you, more and more rapidly, more and more violently. You are love and nothing else. Love needs no baggage, no memory, no medal, no banknote, no affection, no connection. I would say in your soul and conscience, in your spirit and in your character, do you want to be free or do you want something else? Free of yourselves, free of form, or do you put something else ahead of your desires? I will end with these words: whatever the appearance of your form, whatever your thoughts, whatever you think is right or wrong, it does not matter in relation to the real, it does not matter with regard to intelligence, and also remember, as Nisargadatta and the commander told you, in these times so propitious to joy, silence is the key word. It is not a question of not speaking any more, it is a question of playing, in a way, the one who observes the observer. Who is watching the observer? What is the observer looking at? You are upstream of what is observable, you are upstream of what observes. You are the real. All the rest, all that can appear as a thought, I am such an age, I suffer from such and such limitation or I have such and such problem, is only there to divert you from the truth. If you had faith, as another said, like a mustard seed, then you would move mountains. It is not faith, hope in a future, it is the affirmation of the reality that you are, even without living it, which makes you live it. Everything else is history, everything else is mental or emotional scenarios. So, I have come to invite you to unconditional freedom. It is time to drop all teachings today, even mine, even those of the commander, even those of Nisargadatta, in order to be naked before the truth that you are. But once again it is up to you to demonstrate it to yourself by the objectivity of your experience, and remember that you cannot cheat with the truth, with the real. Human intelligence that you believe to be your intelligence is so restricted compared to the intelligence of light. You believe yourself to be your human intelligence, which is false. It is time now on this day of August 30th, 2020 to give you time to digest what I have just said and prove it to yourselves. Life will demonstrate it to you. The intelligence of light will use all opportunities, individual and collective, to lead you to what you are, where you have never moved, as some Eastern brothers say. You just need common sense. You need to see what is happening before your eyes, in your country, in your family, in your home, to witness it without judging it. All the lighting is there, from the moment you no longer project, from the moment you no longer reflect, from the moment you do not appeal to your memory or your intellectual understanding. At that time you are available. And this is available to each of you, whatever your occupations, whatever your age, whatever your health, whatever your wallet, whatever your isolation. I will leave you now in this silence. And in silence, I salute you. I now return to the silence and tell you that all of us elders are closest to you, within you, and clearly see from our vantage point this encounter between the planetary lie and the cosmic lie. There is your freedom, there is revelation, and there is agape. Like the commander, I tell you always and forever, in the heart of each one who is the heart of each other. May your lucidity be flawless, may your presence be complete, and may love prevail. Bye. Channeling by Jean-Luc Ayoun in French. Translated via Google Translate from original text at https://apotheos.live.